Hey guys, it's Naomi, and you should subscribe and become my homie.
What a wonderful.
Okay, first disclaimer before I start this video is that recently I've been having an issue with having a dry mouth, which I don't know why. I drink plenty of water. I just can't get it to go away. So I'm sorry if I sound weird when I'm talking. That's it. Okay, but on to the topic of today. Today I'm going to be talking about chronic illness and my journey with it. So I have my timeline written down. So if I'm looking down, that's because I'm trying to stay in order. I'm not going to go too deep into my chronic illness and everything. I'm just going to tell you what it's been like over the last 5.5 years. So let's get into it. If you're watching this video and you have any type of chronic illness, I want you to know that you aren't alone, but that also means that most of the time, chronic illness is very unique to each and every person. And even if you don't have a chronic illness and you're just in pain sometimes, this video is for you too, just so that you know that everyone is going through something hard, but your situation is unique to you. So you should never feel like you can't talk about what you're struggling with just because you don't feel like it is as important as someone who has some really serious chronic illness. So just to put that out there. So this all started in 2014. I was 12 years old. I broke my foot and my ankle. I broke 4 bones. And we didn't go to the doctor right away because we just thought it was a sprain because I've always been injury prone. So 5 or 6 weeks go by and I was on crutches for about 4 weeks and then in an old boot for 2. And that's where I think my hip issue started, because usually a break only takes 6 weeks to heal. But since we didn't know and I kept walking on it, it just got continually worse. So by the time we went to the doctor, it was a whole nother 6 weeks of on crutches. When you're 12 years old, you're growing a lot. At least I was. That was when I had my growth spurt. So I was growing, but I was growing unevenly because I was putting so much pressure on my right hip. So in 2015, my hip ligament started rolling over the bone, and I didn't really care because it didn't hurt. But throughout 2015, my right hip just started not really working very well. And again, it wasn't I was in pain yet. It just was stretching out more and more, and it would randomly give out while I was walking. And so as a 13-year-old and your hip's giving out, it's oh, that's not good. And I was still growing. The problem just got worse. So by 2016, I was in a lot of pain in my hip, but I didn't really want to say anything. So this is the spring of 2016. I just kind of was pushing through. I was still doing gymnastics. I was doing fine. And then it was May 2016, and I threw out my back. All I remember is that it was a paralyzing pain. And that's when my back spasm started. And then my stomach started acting up. So because of the back spasming, my stomach started spasming and it wasn't really functioning well. So everything started falling apart in 2016. I kind of just started falling apart, and I didn't know what to do because I went to 2 rounds of physical therapy that year and nothing was working. So I was getting really discouraged, and I just didn't really know what to do or how to express that. And nobody really believed me either about how much pain I was in. And it was so inconsistent. It felt so bad and I felt so guilty. It just wasn't good. So my freshman year started and I just kind of was you know what? I'm gonna push through this. But then my gut got really bad. It was stabbing constantly. Every time I ate, every time I drank, it was really bad. My school year was kind of really inconsistent. I would have a great morning and suddenly I would throw up my back, and then I couldn't go to classes, and I was missing school, and I felt guilty about that. Like, my mental health was definitely affecting my physical health. And as a freshman, not super fun. So everything was just spiraling out of control in 2016. So it just wasn't good. I wasn't healthy at all. And one of the medications I was on was making me gain weight. And that really bothered me too, because like when you have back issues, you can't work out. And it was just like all too much for me, and I didn't know how to express it ever. In the beginning of 2017, I was in a musical. I was like so happy. I was like really getting used to a new groove. I started getting migraines. And in the spring, I started getting really, really bad migraines. And so we went to a neurologist and we were trying to figure something out. And then they put me on another medication. But this medication made me lose weight and it made me lose a lot of hair. And it didn't really do anything. So I started taking this medication. I would get a migraine. I would have to go to basketball. I would play a game with a migraine. I would come home, be up until 2 a.m., puke, go to bed, feel great the next day. A couple days later, do it again. I was overwhelmed by how much pain I was in, and I was so sad that I couldn't just enjoy anything. So that's when I went to the hospital for the first time to get a migraine cocktail, and it worked. I came home, I slept, I woke up, and I was like, it's magical, it's gone. And then it came back, but less, so I didn't really bring it up. And that migraine probably lasted 2 more weeks, and then it just kind of was done. The summer, I was just busy. I was really struggling with my weight because it was fluctuating so much. And again, like, I couldn't work out. By the fall of 2017, starting my sophomore year, I got a colonoscopy and an endoscopy because my stomach was not stopping. And again, nobody really believed me that I was having these issues, which is really hard when like the people around you are just like, you can almost tell that they just don't really believe, because it was so inconsistent. I would have a great day and be able to go hang out with someone for hours and I'll get all of my school done, and the next day I would be a complete wreck. That, like, I mean, honestly, it is hard to believe, especially when it just happened. And it was just like something none of us had ever seen before. So it's just a really hard mental game. But the endoscopy and colonoscopy, it showed that I was lactose intolerant, but not just lactose intolerant, it showed that my body couldn't break down lactose at all. So, no dairy. And I stopped, and my stomach issues, they didn't completely go away, but they definitely resolved, and I'm still dairy free, and it really changed a lot for that. So in 2018, I had lost one pediatric doctor. I had my awesome neurologist, love her, and my gastroenterologist, also love her. And I said that I lost my pediatric doctor. He was great too, and he was really the only doctor looking at my back that realized, like, this isn't her growing. He literally said that so many times. He'd be like, this isn't her growing. There is something really wrong. And then when he left, nobody else really thought about it that much. So in 2018, my new pediatric doctor finally referred us to a rheumatologist. And we went to her, and she heard everything, and she's like, this isn't from you growing, which is what everyone thought it was. She's like, you have a chronic pain, illness, whatever you want to call it. Basically, every single joint in my body is loose. So every single ligament will slowly stretch. And so that's what happened to my right hip, and it eventually happened to my left hip, and it's happening in my knees, both of my shoulders, my elbows, and my wrists currently, and then my ankles. So that's just what's happened so far. but eventually it'll be my fingers, it'll be my, I mean, there's not really much left. Like every single joint is loose. So this rheumatologist, she was so great. She was like, we're gonna run a bunch of tests, we're gonna find out what's wrong with you. I got an MRI done, I got x-rays done, all of these great things, blood work. And then like a month later, we realized that like we hadn't gotten any of the tests back, just to find out that she had retired or quit or transferred or whatever, and I had never gotten my answers. And that's the last time I have ever gotten anything answered. It was really difficult because I was told that this is chronic and I will never get better. If you have someone you can talk to, please talk to someone, because going through it yourself is really hard. It really hit me hard. But that's okay. I think God put me through that trial to figure it out and to find more trust in Him, which I did. But someday I do want to get professional help to really work through it and to find like better tactics for dealing with pain, because I still have it. My back has never fully healed. My joints are getting worse and they will continue to get worse and worse. And I have just like certain things that just kind of scare me, with like when I have kids someday, if I can have kids someday, just things like that, because it's so inconsistent and we never got any answers. And I was supposed to go to a gene specialist, I don't know, and find out if I had like a certain condition, like fancy word syndrome. And so yeah, that's basically been my journey. And I'm going to film another video about how I worked through it, because I did work through it. So now when I get a migraine, I have a system, because my neurologist is fantastic. We got them under control. So I only get like maybe a migraine a month. And maybe that sounds like a lot, but it's not as intense as it used to be, because we got them under control. And now I have this thing called a cocktail of medication that I take that just knocks it out. So the doctors did help me, and so like my stomach is better. It's not completely better, but it's better than it was. My migraines are better. They'll never be completely gone, but they are better. And I can deal with having so much pain constantly without giving up on whatever I'm doing. And it feels good. Not gonna lie, I feel really good that I completely changed and rewired my mindset to be able to stop feeling bad for myself all the time and just, you know, put on my big girl pants and keep going. Again, I'm going to put out another video about like what I did, like how I worked through it. And let me tell you, it wasn't pretty, because it took 2 years. So it's not like something that's going to happen overnight. Yeah. Okay, so if you found any value in this video, give it a like. Comment if you can relate in any way. Comment if you have a chronic illness that like you just don't know what it is and you're really struggling with. Just like, you know what? Comment any. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I hope you found some value in this video today, getting to know me a little bit more about my chronic illness and everything. Please don't feel bad for me. I can't talk. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you found some value in it, and I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit more. I also hope you enjoy this crazy hairstyle, because part of my hair is blue now, and it looks wacky. If you are suffering from chronic pain, know that you are not alone. There are lots of people out there who can help you get through it. And just know that God is on your side, even though it doesn't always feel like it. and I'm praying for you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, that's basically been my journey, and I'm going to film another video about how I worked through it, because I did work through it. So now when I get a migraine, I have a system, because my neurologist is fantastic. So the doctors did help me, and so like my stomach is better. It's not completely better, but it's better than it was. My migraines are better. They'll never be completely gone, but they are better. And I can deal with having so much pain constantly without giving up on whatever I'm doing. And it feels good, not gonna lie. I feel really good that I completely changed and rewired my mindset to be able to stop feeling bad for myself all the time and just, you know, put on my big girl pants and keep going. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you found some value in it, and I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit more. I also hope you enjoy this crazy hairstyle. If you are suffering from chronic pain, know that you are not alone. There are lots of people out there who can help you get through it. And just know that God is on your side, even though it doesn't always feel like it. And I'll see you next time.
Myself. What a wonderful world.